Quebec's separatist movement, it's always been there. Quiet, patient, simmering. Now, in 2025, it's starting to stir again. Not with protests, not with violence, but with questions. Deep, uncomfortable ones. What is Canada actually holding together? And for how much longer? We've already seen Alberta challenge the federal government. Now Quebec might be next. And if it does, Canada's days as a unified nation could be numbered. If you're tired of the bullshit and ready for straight talk, subscribe to America's Geopolitics. Okay, let's break it down. In 1995, Quebec came within a fraction of leaving Canada. The referendum on sovereignty fell by less than 1%, just over 50.5% to 49.4%. That moment shook the country. Ottawa barely held on. And the scars, they never fully healed. Quebec has always been different, French-speaking, culturally distinct, and often at odds with decision-makers in English-speaking Ottawa. For years, it was about cultural protection, preserving language, identity, traditions, but now that struggle is evolving. What once was about preserving heritage is starting to look like a calculated political shift. Quebecers are watching the federal government fumble its way through trade crisis, inflation, and energy battles. And they're asking, why stay in a system that doesn't work? And here's where Alberta comes in. Alberta is setting a new precedent, one that Quebec cannot ignore. In the face of federal overreach and economic hardship, Alberta is turning outward, towards the United States. It's asserting provincial authority, rejecting Ottawa's green mandates, building pipelines and trade deals that align more with Texas than Toronto. Quebec, they see this. And while it doesn't share Alberta's values or economy, it sees the same broken structure. Both provinces contribute heavily to the national economy, and both feel underrepresented. The old assumption was that Quebec's grievances were cultural, Alberta's were economic. Now, they're the same. Power is too centralized in Ottawa, and federal leadership is too weak to hold the country together. In 2025, separatism isn't ideological, it's strategic. The economy is under pressure, Trump's tariffs are squeezing trade routes, global instability is exposing Canada's vulnerabilities, and Ottawa, it looks increasingly out of step with the real concerns of the provinces. Federal transfers are shrinking, energy projects are stalling, the military is woefully underfunded, and the federal government is still trying to please everyone by pleasing no one. Quebec, like Alberta, is now doing the math. How much does it pay into the system? How much does it get back? And more importantly, what could it gain by going it alone? Whether that's full independence or just deeper autonomy, the logic is shifting. This isn't an emotional decision anymore. It's a practical, financial, structural decision. And that's what makes it more dangerous. And Quebec isn't alone on this. Across the globe, large national structures are unraveling. The EU is struggling to hold member states together. Scotland wants to leave the UK. Catalonia is still challenging Spain. Even in the US, regional autonomy is back in the conversation. Just look at Texas and Florida. We are in a post-globalization world now. Borders matter again. Self-sufficiency matters again. And power is decentralizing. Quebec is watching, and so is Alberta. And so is everyone who's tired of handing over power to an ineffective central government. Hello? So what does this mean for America? A fragmented Canada opens the door to direct relationships. Trade routes could be negotiated province by province. Resource deals, like hydroelectric power from Quebec or oil from Alberta, it could be streamlined. In many ways, it would be simpler for Washington. The U.S. already does this informally, with British Columbia on climate, with Alberta on energy. But a formal shift, where provinces act like near-sovereign entities, would reshape North American strategy. More opportunities for U.S. influence, more openings for economic integration, but also more instability at the border. And here's the wild card. Foreign powers like China or the EU could try to cozy up to Quebec if it ever breaks away, just like they've tried with Scotland and Catalonia. That's not just a Canadian issue, that's a geopolitical one. And Washington knows it. And I don't think we're going to let those guys come into our backyard like that. And so the question isn't whether Quebec will hold another referendum tomorrow. It's whether the logic of independence is becoming more attractive than the status quo. Right now, it is. The real story here isn't protest, it's preparation. And it's spreading quietly. If Quebec makes a move, symbolic or serious, it could be the final crack in the Canadian structure that's already under stress. And the U.S. better be ready for that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Quebec gearing up for a new push for independence? Or is this just more posturing to gain leverage? And if Canada does start to break apart, what role should America play? Should we stay out of it or take the lead in shaping what comes next? Today's episode is powered by W Energy like always. Clean energy, zero sugar, no crash, no bullshit, perfect for long shoots, longer research nights, or just powering you through your day. Hit the link below and use the code, support the channel and stay focused. This is Frank.